And we are Amy and Emma and Jen, I'm Jen, from LLB Inclusive Employment, which we set up primarily to try and work out what is going on with access to work and help support people access to work, and also make sure that they have good training and good facilities to help support disabled staff and in the workplace, particularly in academia. My own experience of access to work is, although I'm been working around ableism and disability in academia for many, many years, I only heard of it a couple of years ago. And from the point of hearing about access to work to actually putting in my own application took over a year. And that was a lot to do with the fact of having to recognise and come to terms with the fact that this might be something that could help me, but also dealing with the kind of emotional work of making sure that that didn't make me less able to do my job or incompetent as an academic because that I needed to have access to work. It was really quite emotional and quite difficult journey. Then when I got the access to work claim awarded, which took quite a while because there's quite a long waiting list, there began this whole process of dealing with finance and dealing with university systems, many of whom didn't know how to deal with access to work, weren't able to claim back for things or advise. I was bought software that the university already had a license to, which kind of wasted money. And one of the things around access to work that we found is that this isn't just specific to me or specific to the university that I'm based in, but actually this is something that happens an awful lot. I'm going to try and move the slides on. So basically, there's an awful lot of money wasted. And this is from the university point of view, where they've got people who could be supported to do their jobs more efficiently, more productively. They're not able to be more productive. They're not having to take time off sick, but they're also able to work at a speed that is better because they're supported properly. But also on the basis that if you don't process access to work claims properly and reclaim things, then literally that money is completely lost. And I think at this point I hand over to Emma.
Hello, I was just sending you a message to say that actually we can't see the slides. Or can anyone else see the slides? Or can you? Just me then. It's personal. Okay, well, I don't need to see them, so it's fine. So anyway, access to work, it's a great scheme and it can help a lot of people, but it's really complicated. So as Jen hinted, all three of us have a lot of experience in the world of marginalisation and disabilities and what have you, but we didn't really know what access to work really was, and how to access it, or even what you can access via, sort of via the scheme. So we're here to try and sort that out. And what we've discovered in the meantime is that universities and companies don't have any kind of overarching guidance or governance about how they run the systems, which means they lose money, but also the people who are actually receiving the access to work are having extra burdens put on them because they're being required to try and work out how to make the system work and then educate the their employers around them. But also there are other things happening, like there's a burden on them to maybe disclose to managers when they don't want to or don't feel they should have to, and then also for the managers to maybe try and understand more about such a huge range of disabilities than realistically they could, and so we can sort of step in and be the intermediary. Without seeing the slides, I can't quite remember what else comes next. But I think that's it.
I think so. I think we hand over to Amy now.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you for your time today. So what is an example of the sorts of things that we can do? As Emma and Jennifer have both said, we can help individuals and we can also help organisations. So here we've got a kind of structure as to the type of work that we do. So we can offer support for new and for existing staff, and that is important because if you are able to apply for access to work knowing that you have a start date, then they expedite your application for new starters to hopefully around 4 to 6 weeks. And that's a vast difference to the current waiting time of if you're applying as an existing member of staff, which is, I think, sitting at around 26 weeks at the moment. So something that good employers can do is be very aware of that and make sure that if they do have new starters who are disclosing to them that the Access to Work programme could be suitable, then we can come in immediately and make sure that that transition is as streamlined as it's possible to make it. So this will include things like supporting on the application, assessment, equipment support and renewal. And that's important because you do need to renew the award every couple of years. It depends on how an individual has been awarded, but obviously many busy professionals have many other things that they are trying to navigate, and we're able to alleviate the burden of administration and of a lot of the emotional burden that can go with it as well, which makes things much more efficient. And fitting into that, we can offer workplace strategy coaching, and we can support with the mental health support aspect of the Access to Work claim as well. So we can provide training, we can provide induction provision of support workers. That's particularly important because we have seen on multiple occasions, and we've experienced it personally as well, where as a high-level professional in a very demanding role, finding appropriate support from somebody who has the adequate skills and expertise to be able to support you properly is fundamental, because there can always be a risk that you end up as a disabled person both doing your own job and having to teach somebody else how to support you. So we take that burden away, and we work from a positive reinforcement model, not a deficit model, as to how people can come to us with particular skills, and we can match them to others who have skills that they need to be supported with, so that it's a win-win situation. It also means that we can provide people who are giving the support as support workers a feeling that what they do is important, that they can progress, that they can become expert in what they do. And that's very important as well. So we can provide disability awareness training in a bespoke way. And again, that's essential because all disabilities are not made equal. Individuals and workplaces have very different demands and needs. And it's really important that that kind of training is not generic, because actually I know that I've sat in training that it's almost so generic it becomes almost weaponized and offensive. And so what we do is the absolute counter to that. So next slide, please, Jen. Okay, and I think this is where I hand back over here? I can talk us through this. So we've got two pathways we can take. So one is engaging us to set up simple and clear policies at an organisational level, so that we can then support organisations to be able to then implement things and operate them themselves in an autonomous way, to make them as an overall organisation in control of that process. Alternatively, they can engage us to work with them and connect with them at various points of the Access to Work life cycle, so that they're able to essentially commission us to take on that administrative oversight of that particular aspect of the requirement, and they can be safe in the knowledge that they're letting people who are real experts undertake that work. Next slide, Jen. I think that's when I do hand back over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I should also say that we do support individuals, and again, we can either support people through the whole process, or you can just engage us to do the application or stage by stage as you go through the Access to Work life cycle. Okay, so why us? Why go through us? I think primarily we champion inclusive workplace environments. We are completely and utterly dedicated to and passionate about what we do. We are credible and internationally recognised academics and researchers. This is our field. And I think, Amy, you hit it on the head, hit the nail on the head when you said that it might be that you have to educate people. And I think if you're disabled, the last thing that you need to do is to have to educate people about your disability and how best to support you. You know, You might want to educate them about your field, about your research, about your specialism, but this isn't necessarily your specialism. Just because you are an academic and brilliant at what you do, it doesn't mean that you are then able to educate or provide training around your disability. And also, it's a huge emotional burden, which takes away time from doing your actual job. We're unique in the sector because we can support the whole access to work life cycle, as we said, from application through to provision of equipment, training, coaching, mental health needs. We are qualified, we are able to do everything. We are academic EDI and inclusivity experts. We don't just look at disability, we look at things intersectionally, because you can't separate out one thing from another. As Emma said at the beginning, we've got lived experiences of disability, both as employers and employees. We've been through this ourselves. And we offer bespoke EDI and accessibility consultation, research, coaching, counselling and training. I think we've probably all been through courses which have been death by PowerPoint. I think one that was organised for my access to work training was, I didn't go, I gave up my place to someone else. It was on neurodivergence in the workplace, and it was 96 slides for, was it an hour and a half or 2 hours? I can't remember, Emma, I know you went to it.
3 hours.
3-hour training, 96 slides. I can promise you, if you engage Inclusive Employment to deliver training, you won't get that many slides, and it'll be much more creative and engaging and bespoke. I think that is it in terms of the slides, and we've just got questions. What questions